Our Asian Paints delivered its numbers. My colleague Mahima caught up with the management. Let's go straight to that.
First question that everybody wants to know, in fact the nation wants to know with regards to where demand is concerned, because constantly we've been talking about this, how demand has remained subdued. In your con call you did also mention that you expect this pressure to continue. Just want to understand, this time I'm not going to ask you as to when do you expect this revival. Just want to understand as to what triggers do you think could be the next in line that could probably support demand going forward according to you structurally?
So overall, when we see, I think in the quarter, what we saw was definitely demand was stretched. We had a shorter festive season, a prolonged monsoon. I think despite that, overall coatings, we've registered about a 4.4% value growth, a decent volume growth of about 8.3% and very strong margins. PBDIT margins are at, all-time high in terms of what we are seeing in terms of the overall business. As we see going forward, I think we've seen some demand pick up in November and December, which were decent months overall. As we go ahead, I think the focus has been very strongly that we are looking at focusing from a point of view of B2B business, especially catering to a lot of areas in terms of looking at, government expenditure in terms of infrastructure, which is happening. Government is becoming a very strong area in terms of where we are focusing, given the whole focus with respect to infrastructure development projects, which are kind of coming. And that is something which we are focusing our attention very, very strongly. Second, the industrial businesses, whether it is the auto refinishes business or the auto OE business and the general industrial business, is something which we are looking at in terms of concentrating in that direction. And the third direction would be in terms of upgradation, in terms of what we keep on looking from a point of view of moving the market towards a little bit of premium luxury products in terms of going forward. So we would see that possibly going forward, I think the axis of demand and looking at focuses would be in these directions.
Interesting. Okay. And since you mentioned, government contracts, just want to understand, because budget, is set to come on 1st of February. And this time, analysts are expecting that this is going to be a budget that's going to be focusing more on capex-led growth rather than consumption-led growth, which was, very much the focus in the last budget. But if that is the case, right, capex-led growth, I think that is going to augur growth for paint companies as well. So just want to understand your views on this and your expectations from the budget.
Yeah, definitely. I think what we see is that I think we are looking forward to the government pursuing the whole area of focusing on infrastructure, on development more and more. We are seeing the kind of investments which are taking place in terms of the whole connectivity of the country, the ports, airports coming in, and is at the same time really getting a lot of industries, new technologies to kind of really invest, which kind of really is a very strong focus which the government is bringing in terms of the private capex literally kind of go up. I think all these augurs very well for us, both from a point of view of our B2B business as well as the industrial businesses in terms of going forward. And we would really expect that the government continues to kind of really accelerate this whole area of infrastructure and development, so that possibly that is a new direction, that is a new focus which we continue to kind of really embrace.
Understood. Okay. With regards to where margins stand, and I'm sure that you get this question a lot. You've guided a range of that 18 to 20% mark, but this time it has come at the higher end of that range of guidance that you've given at the 20% mark. Just want to understand that if raw material prices continue to remain lower, do you expect some further improvement in terms of margins, or do you think at 20% your margins have peaked?
So what we see is that, today we have, other than the deflation of 1.1%, what we have seen in the last quarter, what we have done is a lot of work from a point of view of our cost structures, looking at in terms of our fixed costs and how do we kind of really want to kind of take that. We've also done work from a point of view of a lot of areas regarding to material efficiencies, whether it is sourcing, purchasing, and formulation efficiencies to that extent. We feel that possibly, I think from a margins point of view, that we have been able to elevate the margins to the level currently of 20.1, which is a good high in terms of what we are seeing to that extent. Going forward, we are expecting that we will continue our investments, whether it is from the point of view of building the brand or it is from the point of view of investing in the market in terms of innovation, new technologies. We also want to invest from a point of view of AI-led technologies which will come in, and a lot of new chemistries which we want to kind of really put into the market. So our focus from that point of view will continue in terms of what we want to kind of build the market, even in terms of bringing newer areas of distribution in terms of what we want to put place. I think those would be the investments which we are looking forward to, other than the capexes which we have already underway in terms of what we are putting. So I think our margin guidance would continue in that 18 to 20% at this point of time as we go ahead.
Okay, all right. With regards to where competition is concerned, in your constant con-call commentary, you've continued to say that, competition still remains a concern. But from what my understanding is that despite of, this heavy capex that competition had come with, it's not been able to make that dent in terms of where the market share stands. So just want to understand as to why do you think that competition is still very intense, one thing. Secondly, what are the, kind of initiatives that you've made this quarter specifically in terms of where you are trying to fight that competition, and when do you think that competition will start to ease out going forward?
So see, the nature of the industry is that, I think, competition will continue. We have now paint consolidation also happening, apart from the fact that there are many new players in terms of to that market. So we believe that possibly that kind of competition intensity will continue in terms of more and more players, more consolidation, which is going to happen as we look at it. Our focus has been more from the point of view of looking at what is the innovation index which we are able to bring with respect to newer products in the market. What are the areas in terms of what we can look at accelerating the premium in the luxury segment in terms of going forward. We have also kind of really looked at the whole area in terms of how we are able to kind of galvanize some of the businesses like the waterproofing construction chemicals which are there, which can give us a leeway in the market in terms of going forward. So,
all right.